In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at our upcoming storminess. We also have these temperatures that we need to look at because there's a very large cooling trend happening towards the end of this model run. So we really need to take a deep dive into all of this. Now, let's go ahead and just dive into it. Real quickly, though, I do have to tell you guys about a discount. We are doing a spring sale over on trilogymaps.com, so you can check that out. It's 50% off the entire store right now. And you can also use my discount code DIRECT for 33% more off on top of the 50%. So it's just ridiculous amounts of sales going on over there. So you want to check it out if you have been thinking about getting those maps. This is probably the lowest we will ever go for the prices. So definitely check those out. Now we're taking a look here at our upcoming storminess. I just want to take us towards this afternoon today on Wednesday the 10th. And you can see that we actually have plenty of storminess taking place mostly here throughout the plains, the deeper south, and portions of the southeast. This is because we have a low over the Four Corner states, so we're seeing this kind of rising motion here throughout a lot of that deeper south corridor into those plains. Certainly something that we're going to be watching for. Back down the west, we do have a cooling trend taking place as well. So this low is kind of dictating the entire pattern at this point. And this should lead towards even warmer temperatures trending in for the east as well. So definitely multiple different impacts to speak of here. As you can see, by the time we're reaching Thursday here, this is going to be Thursday into Friday. So that's the 11th into the 12th here of May here. I almost said December for some reason. I'm all over the place. We can see a 998 millibar low pressure center is right here. We see some warm front type impacts taking place there. More of a cold front type dynamic down here in the deeper, further south areas. So we're watching for thunderstorms down here on this southern extent. Mostly heavy rainfall and showers taking place here on this northern extent. And then we see the snowfall taking place here throughout a lot of the Rockies. Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, down through New Mexico. Certainly some pretty late season snowfall here. As we just keep going with this, though, by the time we're reaching Friday the 12th, we do see that this low has dissipated quite a bit. The lowest pressure is somewhere here in Kansas and Nebraska. We can see that there is a bit of a cold front type deal happening here, and this is going to be causing, again, those severe weather impacts potentially and thunderstorms for the most part. And then we kind of have this warm front type extension happening here on the northern extent of the storm, and this is going to be leading towards mostly showers and just heavier, more persistent rainfall overall, so less thunderstorms. We can see that things are really warming up here to the east of that low pressure center, so that is pretty typical stuff. And we see cold air diving back behind the low to the west. So we're nowhere near that cold pattern that I was mentioning earlier that we're going to be seeing. This is quite the opposite, actually, that we're going to be starting out with here. And we're going to be moving towards that in the upcoming pattern. We're really going to dive into that towards the end of the video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. By the time we're reaching Saturday here on May 13th here, we can see that, again, this persistent storminess across the middle of the nation here is still taking place. We also see some thunderstorms for your mid-Atlantic region and portions of the southeast and northeast there. Definitely some of these areas in the east coast dealing with this. By the time we're reaching Sunday here on May 15th here, it takes aim a little bit further south. So we're seeing some of these thunderstorms and showers move into more of your southeast corridor here. So that is where we'll be seeing that. Still in the south central United States, we're dealing with just tons and tons of these thunderstorms and heavier showers. I'm really curious to see what that total precipitation is going to look like in just a second, because we have seen day over day over day with this just very heavy precipitation. By the time we're reaching Monday the 15th here, we could see that this storminess in general is taking aim over the deeper south central United States, the southeast and deeper south. Here, and then even up towards the mid-Atlantic there in Virginia and North Carolina, we have these thunderstorms taking place here as well. So certainly very interesting area, seeing pretty persistent storminess here in the upcoming pattern. Tuesday's a lot quieter, actually, and we finally are left with a ridge and trough here. So this is when we're dealing with these colder temperatures moving into the east. This is extremely unseasonable, might I add. This is just extremely cold compared to normal, and certainly going to be something that we need to track ever so closely. We definitely have some warmer air surging up northward for the west here, as they're dealing with more of a ridge here by the time we're reaching the 15th and beyond. This happens to be the 17th. Even Thursday the 18th here, we do see a little bit of storminess taking place along the east coast there, but nothing much. And we're still just dealing with the very cold conditions. We can see the jet stream is mostly descending here into the eastern United States there. And we're seeing this kind of rising motion here throughout a lot of the west. That is what we're mostly dealing with here. And that is mostly what the theme is for this video. Now, as we get into the total precipitation, kind of as I expected, we have just huge amounts exploding through the middle of the nation here. As you can see, as these storms just stick around day after day after day, that begins to add up, obviously. Now, anywhere in the grays is practically no precipitation, whereas your green is a tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues is a half an inch to an inch. Your yellows being an inch to 2 inches, reds 2 to 5 inches there. Browns 5 to 10, so we're pushing into pretty heavy territory there. We can see this for a lot of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma region here. Very, very interesting stuff. Very high amounts for a 10-day period. Definitely a whole lot of storminess taking place there, especially the further south in those central United States you go. So we're talking about, again, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas there. As we reach into the total snowfall, we can see that we get pretty heavy amounts here in eastern Canada. As we approach later in the pattern, because of all this cold air, this is going to allow for this wintry weather to take place in the far north areas of eastern Canada. Very interesting to see this late season snowfall for these areas. We've really dried up, as you can see, throughout the Rockies, the Cascades here. This is just an area that has basically gone towards no precipitation, but also no snowfall here. So very, very interesting. As we look just a little bit further eastward in that region, we do start to see more snowfall here, as you can see. So the grays being a dusting, if anything, blues 2 to 6 inches, purple 6 to 10, pinks 10 to 20 there. And then your pastel blues being 20 to 35 inches plus in these areas. Very, very snowy still in the Rockies, as that will probably continue for a week or two more. And we're going to continue to update you guys on this because I find it extremely interesting. Now, the temperature pattern, as you can see, again, as I mentioned earlier, as we approach the weekend, we actually reach in towards a warmer pattern in the east overall. So we're going to be in a warming trend. Here, it's also going to be less precipitation in general. We can see there is some colder air around here for the west, and this is keeping a trough in this area for now. But again, it's as we approach that 15th time frame where we start to see this cold trickling into the east. And at the same time, and this is actually the causing factor, we see warming temperatures for the west, indicative of a P&A, a positive P&A there, and this is leading towards cooler temperatures overall for the central and the eastern United States there. Even as we move well beyond the 15th, we can see for the 17th, 18th time frame, we actually have borderline far below average temperatures moving into the Ohio Valley and Northeast by this time frame, also sitting around for Mexico, Texas, and New Mexico. These greens being 10 to 15 degrees below what is typical for this time of year, so that's going to be a significant cool down, especially when you consider the fact that we've been very far above normal as far as the temperatures go, so we could be seeing a 20 or more degree temperature swing overall when you were to take a look at the, let's call it we'll call this the peak of the ridge. The 12th, all the red areas have 10 degrees above normal. And as we move towards the 18th, all the green areas have 10 degrees below normal. That's a 20 degree or more swing overall. Definitely a huge flip in the pattern. And as we move towards the 19th, 20th, 21st, look at this. I mean, you can still tell we just have this ridge in the west, trough in the east. This is going to mean much cooler temperatures for quite some time to come here in the east. And also out west, we're going to have to be watching for some pretty intense heat as well. So there's going to be multiple factors that we're tracking moving forward as a result of this. Even as we approach the 25th here, we can see warming temperatures out west still by the 25th. And we see these cold temperatures reaching all the way down into the southeast and deeper south. This is likely to be a very big cool down, and it's also likely to last a pretty considerable amount of time. So we're going to be moving forward with this daily, tracking it with you guys every single day. So be sure to subscribe. We do upload daily. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Also, be sure to check out those trilogy maps again in the pinned comment and description down below. And be sure to leave a comment and like the video as well, as that helps me out so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.